Afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners for October 17, 2017. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, Chair of the Board this year, and today we have 3 public hearings we're going to conduct. First, I'd like to start by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Labanita Bomar, the Clerk of the Board. To her right is County Manager Romero Chavez. And to his right is Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell. And to her right is Elizabeth Petrich, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. With that in mind, like I said, we had 3 public hearings to conduct, and we'll get the first one on the way. And the first one is the third quarter Thurston County budget amendment. And so Thurston County is seeking public input today on the proposed amendments to the 2017 Thurston County budget. In the back, there's a sign-in sheet, and for any of the viewing audience that wishes to come to the podium in a few minutes to speak. So you put your name on the paper and sign in, and I'll call you up, first come, first serve. You have 3 minutes to testify. We'll have a 3-minute countdown clock, and when it hits 0, that'll be your time to end. However, if you're midway through your thought, I'll give you a chance to finish up your thoughts in terms of not exactly the 3 minutes there. So I'm going to turn to Robin Campbell, the Assistant County Manager and Budget Officer, to give us some background on the budget amendment, and then I'll open it up to public hearing.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good afternoon. This afternoon, for your consideration, we're presenting the third quarter amendment to the 2017-18 budget. Changes at the bottom line in this amendment: for 2017, the general fund revenue will increase by $7,000 and expenditures will increase $663,000. In other funds in 2017, revenue will increase $608,000 and expenditures $981,000. For 2018, this amendment decreases revenue in the general fund in 2018 by $13,000 and expenditures will increase $223,000. And in other funds in 2018, revenue increases $598,000 and expenditures $787,000. This amendment includes grants, technical changes, funding for collective bargaining agreements. Positions are funded in emergency management, Superior Court, and public health. There's an increase in grant funding for programs for the developmentally disabled. There's an increase in pass-through funds of taxes collected for 911 services. There are payments of claims against the county, and there's funding for public defense. And on that note, I would answer any questions you may have.
Any questions of Robin Campbell?
I guess I would ask for the viewing public, if persons wanted to have a little closer look at this, could they do so on the internet?
Yes.
And what would that address be for citizens to take a little look in detail?
That's a really good question. I believe that the county's internet address is co.wa.thurston.us. No, co.thurston.wa.us, and then on that page you would click on links and then the budget. Oh, it's a much easier web address now, thurstoncounty.gov. These documents have been posted for the last 2 weeks, and they were published in both the Olympian and the Nisqually Valley News.
Thank you very much, Robin.
Any questions?
Yes, and that's thurston.gov or Thurston County?
thurstoncounty.gov.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions. I just have a comment. I want to thank you, Robin, and in your entire entourage, some of what you're here today, for the extensive go-around and increased information that the commissioners were demanding of your office to get us through this. That was like 3.5 or 4 days of intensive full contact budgeting. It was phenomenal. So thank you and your entourage, your staff, very, very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. I would like to say that I appreciate the time that the board puts into the budget. It's valuable time, and the budget is only better because of the time you spend.
Gotta do it right.
Yep.
All right. With that in mind, I'll see if there's anybody in the viewing audience who'd like to come to the podium. Either with, I don't have a sign-up sheet. Is there a sign-up sheet there? And no one signed up? Okay. I'll just do a scan and don't see anybody, so we'll close that portion. Any other comments or about the budget that you?
No, ready to go.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve a resolution to adopt third quarter budget amendment, including attachments A, B, and C.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the resolution to adopt the third quarter budget amendment, including attachment A, B, and C. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did we formally close it?
No. We're going to close it in a second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we are closed for the public hearing for the third quarter budget amendment. The second public hearing we have is the accept the consideration for public comment on a proposed Thurston County unmanned aircraft system policy. On today's subject of the public hearing is to take public testimony on a proposed policy governing the use of unmanned aircraft systems by Thurston County government. Again, there's a sign-in sheet in the back for those who wish to come to the podium and testify in a few minutes. You'll have 3 minutes, and I'll call you forward based on the first come, first serve, and you'll just kind of give your name, where you're from in the county, and then we'll have you testify. With that in mind, I'm going to ask Mr. Kurt Harding to come to the podium and give us a background on that as far as a staff presentation, as far as the unmanned aircraft system policy, and then I'll take public comment.
Okay, thank you. In January 2017, the board directed the Emergency Services Department to look into the use of unmanned aircraft systems by Thurston County government. Emergency Services collaborated with the Sheriff's Office, Public Works, and Resource Stewardship as part of a working group. This working group identified key issues in the use of UAS and the development of a draft policy to provide standardization and consistent future use of UAS by county departments. The key issues that were identified were the value of an overarching county policy to provide standardized, consistent development of use and operational procedures for UAS as used by separate county departments, ensuring that the county departments as government entities were in compliance with the current and evolving FAA regulations related to government UAS flights, benefits of public engagement and outreach to receive feedback and educate the public on Thurston County use of UAS, and balancing the benefit of the public of UAS use with the protection of individual rights and privacy. And last, the need for recurring review and evaluation by county UAS policy to ensure compliance with the fluid regulatory and political environment associated with emerging technology. The work group examined lessons learned from the successful use of UAS by other government organizations such as WSDOT. A proposed policy was drafted by the work group, briefed to the board in a work session, and provided to the public for review via our website and a notice in the Olympian. An opportunity for the public comment is provided at this public hearing, and also comments received by staff as of yesterday. There were no public comments received by close of business yesterday from the public. Summary of the policy is the purpose is to promote safe, efficient, and lawful operation of Thurston County government UAS. Requires supervisors, pilots, and observer system operators to ensure the protection of civil rights and reasonable expectation of privacy. Requires maintenance of video and still images in compliance with state records retention schedules. Adherence to applicable FAA regulations, state law, county policy, and operating agency regulations. Requires a minimum of 3 personnel required to ensure accurate, self-reported compliance, inspection, maintenance, and documentation requirements, safety requirements, and training and accuracy requirements and program administration. And as I said before, there were no public comments received as of close of business yesterday via the website or email.
Okay, any questions, comments?
I guess what I would ask is this could save us quite a bit of money in issues like search and rescue, or looking at fires like we had down south here this summer. That type of activity, law enforcement activity,
Absolutely. It'll have a application not only for search and rescue, but also Public Works when they're doing inspection of damaged roads or just inspecting bridges and culverts. It has opportunity for us for emergency management to do damage assessment. So there's a lot of applications that can be utilized and save money and save manpower. And so what we do is what we can accomplish with one UAS flight can save literally hours of people and staff out in the field.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm supportive of this. It's a way of using technology to our advantage and working a whole lot smarter and safer as well. So thank you for all the work you put into it, Kurt.
I'll just add to that, that's absolutely on par for where Thurston County needs to be and being innovative and bringing ourselves to a more modern county to be able to bring efficiencies and services that we all deserve. So thank you for doing this. You bet. With that in mind, I'll open it up for any kind of public testimony, and I'll look out to the crowd to see if there's anybody who'd like to come to the podium. And see there's no sign-in sheet for this one either. Okay, so with that, there's nobody. I'll close that portion, and then I'll ask the board, what's the pleasure of the board, either close the public hearing and then make a motion to adopt, or...
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries as far as closing the public hearing. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I move to adopt the resolution for an unmanned aircraft system policy.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adopt the resolution for unmanned aircraft system policy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries as well. So with that in mind, we'll move on to our third public hearing. This public hearing surrounds the Thurston Conservation District proposed rates and charges. The public hearing was originally scheduled to accept and consider public comment on a proposed ordinance relating to the Thurston Conservation District proposed rates and charges. Under normal circumstances, we would be open to hearing and allow the public to provide their testimony. However, because of a recent sequence of events, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners is not in a position to conduct a public hearing at this time because the Thurston Conservation District did not properly notice their proposed rates and charges as required by RCW 89.08.405 and 89.08.400 subparagraph 2. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask my two board members if there's a motion to close this public hearing and see and take it to the next step.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's moved in second to close this public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 And this hearing is closed. Okay, that concludes today's 3 public hearings for Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.